What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and make sure you stick around to the end because we will be going into some quite intense detail in this video. So we're going to start on the weekly on dollar, and you can see that we have started to trade down into this weekly fair value gap. Now, this is something I didn't bring our attention to in our weekly review on Sunday, which is quite interesting, but you can see we've now taken out lows from last week and the previous week before that. So now that we've traded through into this fair value gap right here, this has now been rebalanced. This is what you call a rebalanced fair value gap, because what happens is when price trades back into this wick, you'll see we traded down, and you see how that wick trades into this wick. This area now is rebalanced, and that signals and is a signature to me that price can now continue to trade higher, and that is our bias. So if you've been watching my videos, you know that I've been bullish on dollar, and moving forward I would like to see us start to work our way up towards the buy side liquidity above this swing high from last week, and again work our way into this bearish order block. Now, the specific part of the order block that I have my eyes set on is going to be the midpoint, because that is what you call mean threshold, and that's where I anticipate price to trade to. So I'm going to get that delineated in red, but I do counsel you to go and watch the weekly review. I'll make sure to link it in this video, because I will be repeating. I will be just only going over everything I've already said very lightly and quickly. So that's the weekly mean threshold of that bearish order block, and then again I'm going to be delineating the daily order block, which I have my eyes set on. So I want to see if price can draw up into this level specifically. So this is where I have my eyes set on, and here in more detail you can see we traded down. We took out sell stops residing below this consolidation, and it looks like we're about to close above the consolidation, which is very nice to see. So we wick down, taking out sell stops. Remember, sell side liquidity resides below here, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to delineate it just so that we can see sell side liquidity, and I'm going to grey it out as well to show that it's been tagged. And you can see we also traded into the high of this level, this bullish order block. So this reaction away from it is nothing to be concerned about, and like I said, we are now expecting a continuation to the upside. So what now? Well, we can go to the 4 hour, and you can get a better look, and you'll see our price traded down, taking out that sell side liquidity, trading into that bullish order block high. And if you remember from a couple of weeks ago, I was talking about this breaker. We got a low, a high, a lower low, and then price is broken to the upside. So that technically makes this up candle a breaker block, and you can see we've now traded into that quite comfortably too, and again we've seen a nice reaction away from it. Moving on in the week, price can come deeper into this level. Why? Because it is a breaker block, so price may want to come back down one more time just to run stops before reversing properly, but there's also potential for price to just continue higher right now. But do not be surprised, or do not be do not be put off if price does move lower or deeper into this order block. So I'm going to leave this level marked out. I'm going to mark out the midpoint of it, and I'm going to write 4 hour breaker, because that is what it is. 4 hour breaker. So now we have a threshold for where we want price, where we allow price to trade to. And remember, it's not unusual as well for price to come down, make a high, make a lower low, and then trade higher. So that is very possible. Or like I said, this was the low of the week, and then we are going to start seeing higher prices from here on outwards. But for now, I will keep my eyes set on this block, because it is a breaker block: low, high, lower low, and then we've broken higher. So it's the last up close candle before that down move. We can drop down to the 1 hour, and you'll see our price traded quite aggressively lower. If you remember yesterday, or recall, yesterday was a bank holiday, so not much price action at all happened yesterday. It kind of just consolidated the whole day before we had this expansion lower. And then you can see today we moved lower again, running out sell stops. We failed to trade into the highs from Monday, and like I said, price very well may dip deeper into this range moving into the new day. So definitely take that into consideration. And we do have FOMC minutes, so depending on where price is during FOMC, which is going to be 8:30 tomorrow, so around here, depending on where price is, we can look for setups. And what I mean by that is that if price is, say, lower than this low, then we can start looking for longs as like as a turtle soup. So what will happen is price will be taking out sell stops below this low, and then we can start looking for longs with an expectation to run for the relatively equal highs that are starting to form up here. Other than that, price may find support, trade higher, and again a setup should form, allowing us to start working our way up towards this buy side liquidity. So either either can happen, but at least we know, at least we have a basis and an understanding of what we can expect. And make sure to join the Discord, because I am active in the day in the Discord. So if you ever want to ask any questions or see what I'm doing or my thoughts, make sure you join the Discord in the link below, and you can always drop a message in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to quickly delineate the high and low of Monday, just to show that Monday's high and now Tuesday's high is going to be used as a target for buy stop. So we can put buy side liquidity up here, and then you can see that the sell side liquidity here has already been tagged. But yeah, we're just gonna have to wait and see how price acts. I wouldn't be surprised if London saw us move lower, take out these stops before seeing a proper reversal. Let's drop down to the 15-minute just to get one last look. You'll see our price kind of tap its way down here. Little consolidation here. We need to watch how price treats that. If this consolidation gets rejected, as in if we start to see price turn around at this point, then we can expect this low to probably get targeted. Other than that, we'd want to see it get traded through and then use it as support. But this consolidation is definitely significant, so we can drag that right through into the new day. So we got this as a consolidation, and like I said, price will either find resistance at this point and push it lower, and when it trades through it, we should look at it to provide support for higher prices. So that's definitely something to keep an eye on. So that's my expectations on dollar. Again, we're just gonna have to wait and see. 8:30 we have that news release, so definitely I'll definitely be hunting for setups around that time tomorrow. Now let's go to GBP. So let's go on the daily, no, start on the weekly on GBP. And again, if you've watched Sunday's review, you already know the levels I've had, I've marked out for us on here. So we've had this wick delineated, and you can see I marked out the midpoint of this wick, and I was saying that I want to see if price can respect that. Now, yes, we've wicked through it, but look at the reaction away from the level. You can see we're continuing to respect it, as in volume is looking like it's going to close below it, which is exactly what we wanted to see. Draw out the midpoint of this wick, and this will be the very highest threshold I expect price to trade to in the new week. In fact, it would be better if it didn't trade to it at all. So we have a weekly consequent encroachment here, and I also drew our attention to this inversion fair value gap. Now, I was saying that I would like to see resistance found at that level. There is a fair value gap right here. If price manages to trade up into there, we should see rejection at that level. But that's not the case. We traded through it. But again, the fact that we've come off it so aggressively too means that if price does manage to reach back up here, we know that this should provide the resistance it needs. So we can put inversion fair value gap here. And this fair value gap has been traded through 3 times now. Delivered down once on the downside, traded through, up, down, up and down. So again, it's rejecting price away and pushing us towards the likelihood of seeing lower prices. So in terms of targets for this week, I remember we've got this sell side liquidity down here. I did state all of this in Sunday's video, guys. And then we can go to the daily, and we can see our price traded again, trading up into the midpoint. Again, this wick, look at that, same wick level as the weekly, slightly mohawked above it, not a problem at all. And then when we drop to the 4 hour, you can see our price traded up to it, and look at what volume is respecting. So this is why I had this inversion fair value gap drawn out, guys, because although we wicked through it, the wicks do the damage, but look at the volume. We turned around right at that inversion fair value gap. So that's something to take into consideration. Again, another 4 hour wick that we can look at, and you'll see we traded to 25% level of that, and then we're starting to see quite a heavy rejection. So let's drop down to the 1 hour, and we can have a better look at price. Traded through it, made it high, low, higher, high, and starting to trade lower now. Again, this inversion fair value gap lined up with this breaker, definitely something to consider. And then drop down to the 15-minute, you can see our price is just tipper-tappering its way down. And look where fair value gap formed once again. So you start things like this. This is the kind of patterns in terms of ICT concepts that you're going to start to see. Like this inversion fair value gap has been seen on multiple time frames, so it's clearly a certain level which price is referring to in order to move to where it wants to get to. So we should definitely consider all that. We have some beautiful relative equal lows below here, so price may want to target those, and that's also from yesterday. So let me just get the daily dividers marked out, and then we can get a closer look. So now we've got that sell side liquidity delineated from Monday and Tuesday, and you can see the relative equal lows below here. And again, like I was saying on dollar, I wouldn't be surprised if we saw some kind of rally to create a Judas swing before moving lower. So what we want to be doing is we want to be selling above the opening price tomorrow with an expectation to run for these lows. Now, where can we expect price to trade to? Well, we have this fair value gap, which I was talking about, that price may want to draw to. And we also have a breaker up here. We've got a high, a low, a higher high, and then price is broken to the downside. So definitely keep an eye on these breakers up here if price wants to rally up there. Again, it's just a matter of waiting to see how price acts in the new day. and whether we do get offered a rally, because I do very well believe price may want to come back to this fair value gap to offer one more entry for a potential short. So there's that to consider in the new day. And then if that is the case, I'd simply just put my stop loss above here and start looking for this sell side liquidity to get ran. So that's everything on pound. Let's quickly go to the 5 minute. Is there anything there? Not really much. Again, you can see the breaker level right here. High, low, higher high. And since then, price has been moving to the downside. So this is the last down close candle that price may want to refer to. And what you'll notice is there is a lot of consolidation down here. So price is going to need a lot of work to push down into that. And again, with high impact news such as FOMC minutes tomorrow at 8:30. Is it 8:30? Oh, my bad. It's at 2 p.m. Well, regardless, 8:30 is still a significant time that we want to see what price is at. And then it looks like we will have a continuation in the late afternoon, since that's when we got FOMC minutes. So let's just get that delineated as well for 2 p.m. And then what I'm also going to do is get that delineated on dollar as well for 2 p.m. So these are 2 times of the day where we want to be looking for setups. Nice. So let's finally finish on Euro USD. And what you'll find, we'll start on the weekly with Euro. You'll see that Euro's traded higher. Where have we traded to specifically? We traded into the to the quarter level of this wick. That's interesting. And then if we drop down to the daily, you'll see we've taken out these buy stops. I did say this in Sunday's video as well, to anticipate this buy side liquidity getting taken. That's exactly what happened. We may find some SMT divergence in terms of Euro may take out this buy side liquidity here. GBP may fail to take out that same swing high. If we go to the 4 hour, I also brought our attention to this inversion fair value gap. This is an inversion fair value gap because we've delivered on the upside and then the downside. So when price trades up to there, we should expect some kind of resistance. Yeah, delivery on the upside, delivery on the downside. And then I was saying when price reaches into that, we can start hunting for shorts because it should provide the resistance it needs to reach down into the south side liquidity. So it's nice to see us react like that off this inversion fair value gap. But again, don't be surprised if price comes back up one more time to offer fair value before moving lower. Another thing to take note of is there's a gap here that's been traded through many times. Upside, downside, and upside again. Let me just mark that out right here. And you can see we traded to the midpoint of that as well. So that's something quite interesting. Let's go to the 1 hour. And you'll see our price traded nicely into that. And since we've just come down, and again, I wouldn't be surprised if price came back into this range, offering a premium before breaking lower. Now we have some lows below here, relative equal lows for price to work towards. We can go to the 15 minute. And again, you'll see our price is just tapping its way down. But again, moving into the new day, don't be surprised if price comes up, grabs stops, or trades back into this range before seeing a turnaround. Now, when price does do this, or if it does decide to do that, this is when you need to get the GBP up, because this is where you're going to start to see smart money divergence. So what you'll see is GBP may fail to take out this swing high, whereas Euro might take out that high. And that kind of SMT divergence right there is what will help frame your setups for a short. Same with dollar. Like what you may find with dollar is that dollar may take out the low, Euro may take out the high, but GBP may fail to. So SMT divergence should occur if this is to happen. And by me pointing this out, I'm showing you moments where you should anticipate SMT divergence to occur. So it's not just a matter of seeing SMT divergence and thinking, oh, let's go short. It's a matter of anticipating when it's going to happen and actively looking for that for you to help add confluence to your shorting positions. But hopefully I'll be able to record some of tomorrow's price action to go into more detail of that. But that explains everything, guys. Beautiful day, delivered right to where we expected on Euro. Same on GBP. It was nice to see us reach up into that midpoint. A lot more aggressive than I anticipated. And then dollar, like I said, did move a little bit lower than anticipated. But again, nothing to be too afraid of. So tomorrow, we're watching out for this consolidation, see how price treats it. See if price wants to come back below this low one more time. And then we'll be anticipating setups for longs for the rest of the week, depending on where we are at 8:30 and at the 2 p.m. news release. So that's going to be everything, guys. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you tomorrow. Peace.